Do you ever watch Pirates of the Caribbean, see a bunch of ragtag scallywags doing backflips off ships and drinking rum like it's vitamin water, and think, man, I was born in the wrong era? Well, first of all, you weren't. And second, try saying that after scrubbing a sea-drenched latrine for the 5th time that morning while being called a bilge rat by a man whose entire dental plan is hope and splinters. Because if you were born a pirate's cabin boy in the 1700s, your life didn't just suck. It was a floating nightmare made of rope burns, beatings, and bowel water. You see, being a pirate already meant signing up for scurvy, death, and possibly being turned into fish food by the British Navy. But being a cabin boy, oh, that was a whole different league of misery. You weren't even a proper crew member. You were more like the ship's unpaid intern, except instead of grabbing coffee, you were grabbing slop buckets, fetching cigars, swabbing decks, and praying your knees didn't give out before your dignity did. Which, spoiler alert, it always did. Most cabin boys were orphaned kids, poor runaways, or straight-up kidnapped children snatched from ports and tossed into service. No training, no warning, just congrats, you live here now, this creaky coffin of wood and desperation. Enjoy the rats. And if you thought the captain would be the one mentoring you through this rough and tumble pirate life, think again. He was too busy getting hammered and threatening to shoot people over stale biscuits. Your mentor? That'd be the angry cook with a hook for a hand and unresolved childhood trauma. Your typical day as a cabin boy began at the crack of, get up before I throw this bucket at you. You'd be yanked from your moldy hammock, if you were lucky enough to have one, and immediately put to work scrubbing the deck with seawater and sand until your hands looked like boiled rope. After that, it was a parade of awful chores, mopping up vomit in the hold, cleaning the captain's filthy boots, running messages up and down the ship like a messenger pigeon with trust issues, and holding the spit bucket during dental surgery. Did we mention there was no anesthesia? Just rum and screaming. Mostly the screaming. Food? Oh, you mean that bucket of wet bread and bug protein they call hardtack stew? Yeah, that was dinner. Breakfast might have been a bite of salted meat older than your parents and a sip of water so brackish it needed an exorcism. And if you complained, you weren't just ignored, you were probably flogged. Discipline on pirate ships wasn't exactly progressive. If a cabin boy messed up, even slightly, he might be whipped, locked in a barrel, or tied to the mast during a storm to learn respect. You didn't get timeouts. You got trauma. And don't get any romantic ideas about learning the ropes. That phrase was literal. It involved you climbing 100 feet up the rigging with nothing but your shaking knees and a hope you wouldn't plummet into shark-infested waters. Slipping meant death. Hesitating meant being screamed at by a half-naked man with a cutlass and 7 different types of scabies. And succeeding? That just meant you gotta do it again tomorrow. And speaking of death, pirate ships weren't exactly floating hospitals. You get injured? That's a you problem. You break a leg climbing the rigging, bite on some rope, and try not to scream too loud. Get a toothache? Someone's jamming a rusty spike into your jaw while 4 drunk men hold you down and sing sea shanties out of tune. No antibiotics, no clean bandages, and the ship surgeon, if there even was one, was usually just a guy who didn't pass out during amputations. Hope you like splinters and gangrene, because that's your new aesthetic. But maybe you're thinking, hey, at least you'd be safe during battles, right? I mean, you're just a kid. Wrong. So very wrong. When enemy ships showed up and the cannons started blasting, guess who got to run around carrying gunpowder and cannonballs? You, the cabin boy, a 12-year-old with 0 life experience, hauling explosives through clouds of smoke and chaos while screaming men and splinters flew in every direction. And if the ship was boarded, well, here's a cutlass. Go try not to die. If you did, no one would remember your name. If you didn't, congrats. You get to clean up the corpses. And sure, once in a while, a cabin boy rose through the ranks to become a proper pirate. Maybe even a quartermaster. But for most, life was short, brutal, and entirely thankless. You were the lowest of the low, the one everyone blamed, beat, and ignored. Your job was to work, suffer, and die quietly, preferably not during dinner. Because the only thing worse than being a pirate's cabin boy was being one with an opinion. So yeah, next time you're playing a pirate game and thinking, wow, being a cabin boy must have been such a cool adventure, just remember, your historical counterpart probably died of diarrhea, exploded during cannon run, or got flogged for sneezing in the wrong direction. Adventure? Sure, if your idea of adventure includes lice, scurvy, and constant psychological damage. Being a cabin boy wasn't about swashbuckling glory or treasure maps. It was about surviving one more day without being eaten by rats, tossed overboard, or turned into a cautionary tale told to the next unfortunate cabin boy. Your legacy wasn't fame or fortune. It was maybe getting buried at sea in a barrel because the crew was too lazy to dig a hole. So count your blessings. Now go hug your Wi-Fi router and enjoy your clean drinking water.